Hi everyone, welcome to Difference Frames the World, a channel where you can see the world differently. Please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification so you will not miss our videos uploaded every day. Today, we discuss the hollowing out of America's manufacturing industry and why the country cannot reverse the deindustrialization as planned. At present, the US is still the second largest consumer market after China's mainland, but it is not a leading industrialized nation anymore. Most of its products are made outside the United States, mainly from China's mainland, directly or indirectly. Notably, the US became the world's most potent country after the Second World War because of two reasons. Firstly, its mainland was not plagued by war, unlike Britain, France, Germany, China, Japan, and Russia, to name a few. Secondly, the US became the world's #1 industrialized nation in the 1930s, and there were made in USA products in every corner of the world at that time, like today's Chinese commodities. The country had a huge trade surplus over other countries, and it also accumulated enough wealth from selling weapons to countries involved in two world wars. Since the Korean War broke out in the early 1950s, America began to move most of its industrial sectors to low-cost regions, like Japan, South Korea, and Southeastern Asia. Now, China has replaced the United States, becoming the world's #1 manufacturing hub. The US still has some domestic pillar industries like aviation and automobile manufacturing, but they face serious problems. Like Tesla, it could have gone bankrupt if Elon Musk had followed Donald Trump's call not to start the mega plant in China's Shanghai. Another example is Boeing, which recently announced plans to lay off about 17,000 jobs worldwide, despite the high demand for global aviation manufacturing. Boeing was once America's pride. However, it has become a stain on America's manufacturing nowadays. The giant was famous before, and now it is notorious. In recent years, waves of negative news have been haunting the company one after another, including but not limited to safety accidents involving multiple aircraft models, strikes and layoffs, increased production and operating losses, delayed delivery of new models, and lowered ratings that have almost fallen to junk level, and so on. In short, the company is going from bad to worse to another worse, and the worst is yet to come. Boeing used to be the pinnacle of American manufacturing, but it is now under attack from all sides. Its cost-down initiatives have ruined the quality of Boeing's products and the giant's reputation. The first disastrous crash of a Boeing 747 that killed 520 passengers in 1985 dealt a fatal blow to Boeing, raising global concerns over the quality issue and maintenance problems of Boeing's airplanes. However, it was only the beginning. Two 737 MAX planes crashed in October 2018 and March 2019, killing hundreds. Those two deadly accidents involving the same Boeing model, 737 MAX 8, happened within half a year, and all such planes were grounded globally. Those two tragedies not only exposed Boeing's safety and regulatory issues, but also reflected the critical problems of the entire American manufacturing industry, which has been highly politicalized. Political correctness is destroying America's manufacturing. According to a report from the South China Morning Post in early August 2024, Boeing is hiring 20 times more engineers in India than in China, because the US wants to reduce its dependence on Chinese expertise. Boeing outsources a large part of its production to third parties to maximize its profits at the cost of passengers' safety. From Obama to Trump, and then to Biden, the US administrations have been trying to coerce and seduce manufacturers to move their production lines to the United States with punitive tariffs and massive subsidies, to no avail. Politicians in Washington fail to understand the madness of capitalists for profit, and that the US is Northwest longer the best place to make money. If Boeing can move all its businesses out of the United States, it will do that for money's sake. Even though it cannot, it has subcontracted a large part of its operations to other countries, and its facility in the US is mainly for assembling outsourced parts into a so-called made-in-USA plane. It is a little exaggerated but somewhat reflects the reality. It is hard to believe such planes are of sound quality as they should be. Earlier in 2024, a serious accident occurred on an Alaska Airlines 737 MAX 9 aircraft. The plane's door fell off mid-flight, leaving a gaping hole. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration grounded over 177 737 MAX 9 airplanes owned by U.S. airlines or operating in U.S. territory. Later, suspension expanded to the whole 737 MAX family. The investigation revealed that Boeing had serious problems in quality control and employee training during the production process, and the Federal Aviation Supervision was also considered ineffective. Boeing's spaceship that sent 2 U.S. astronauts into orbit also has problems, so NASA has no choice but to ask Elon Musk's SpaceX to bring the stranded spacemen back in 2025. Since mid-September 2024, about 33,000 employees at Boeing's West Coast factory have been on strike, and no agreement on the issue of salary has been reached. Boeing's commercial aircraft production has almost stopped because of the strike. Boeing announced plans to lay off about 10% of its global workforce, including 17,000 executives, managers, and ordinary employees. Boeing is in trouble, and major credit rating agencies are reportedly lowering its ratings. A Bloomberg report on October 8, 2024, says Standard & Poor's is considering downgrading Boeing's rating to junk level. Another rating agency, Moody's, said it was considering a similar move. Fitch also emphasized that Boeing's operating risks have increased. Boeing met its Waterloo after its acquisition of McDonnell Douglas in 1997, when it replaced its previous culture of engineering excellence with a focus on profit. Such a disastrous profit-oriented shift led Boeing to compress and simplify the company's necessary management, procurement, production, quality control, research, and development. Boeing is not alone, though. The problems Boeing faces, such as high labor costs, lack of skilled workers, and broken supply chains, are other major U.S. companies' headaches as well. Many American companies outsource production to countries with more labor cost advantages. However, excessive reliance on outsourced production and neglect of quality control have caused the competitiveness of American products to decline. To make things worse, the U.S. does not have enough skilled workers for the transformation and upgrading of the manufacturing industry, even if it wants the manufacturing jobs to return to the country. The serious shortage of qualified workers is fatal to reviving America's manufacturing industry. For most, if not all, American workers, lack of skills is only one of the problems. Failing to adapt to a high-pressure environment is another more important issue. TSMC's expansion in the U.S., for instance, is struggling because of worsening relations between Taiwanese and American co-workers. TSMC is reportedly accused of ill-treating workers, and American engineers are shocked by 12-hour workdays and high-pressure working environments. Most likely, its scheduled operations in 2024 and 2026 will be postponed again. Boeing and other American manufacturers' trouble also stems from broken supply chains adversely affected by factors such as the Russia-Ukraine conflict and intensified geopolitical tensions between Beijing and Washington. Manufacturing companies in the United States, like Boeing, require advanced technology and special materials, demanding a stable supply chain. When the supply of key materials is limited or technological transformation faces difficulties, the production progress and product quality of the entire enterprise will certainly be deeply impacted. In recent years, particularly after Biden was sworn into office in 2021, the U.S. has been trying to reduce its reliance on the Chinese supply chain. It has even imposed numerous export controls to limit American companies from selling high-end products and components to China. Unfortunately, for many American manufacturers, Chinese buyers are the main source of their income. How can a company survive if it cannot do business with its clients? The outward transfer of U.S. manufacturing to Japan in the 1950s could be explained as a result of the Korean War, but in the 1960s, and afterwards, the deindustrialization of the United States was mainly to make more money in low-cost regions. The hollowing out of manufacturing has led to a decline in employment, stagnant productivity growth, and the loss of an innovation environment, which is not conducive to long-term economic development. The Vice President-elect, J.D. Vance, who claimed Donald Trump did not lose the 2020 election 2 days ago, wrote a book many years ago, titled Hillbilly Elegy, vividly illustrating the aftermath of deindustrialization in the United States. Today's J.D. Vance has become a laughingstock, and he can hardly represent the working class, who are suffering from America's hollowing out of manufacturing. Still, his book echoes the pain and desperation of rednecks and hillbillies. It does not demand much wisdom to understand the problems caused by deindustrialization, and even idiotic national leaders know the U.S. should revive its manufacturing and bring jobs back to the country. After the subprime crisis in 2008, the United States introduced many policies to revitalize the manufacturing industry, such as Obama's reindustrialization, Trump's America First, and Biden's supply chain resilience. Till today, the so-called revitalization of American manufacturing is nothing but a political slogan. We have not seen much progress the U.S. has made to boost America's manufacturing sector, but those policies are surely better than nothing. At least, they make